Okay, all right. Hello, everybody. So this has been a fun-filled, spriteful week. You guys are in store to see a lot of fun Sprite pee, bodies burning, snail guts, all the good stuff. So it's fun to be able to see the some of the final and new render lighting for you and Drown. We're going to look at today, and Andy's work on the start of intro. Hjalti and I have also been chopping away at Ritual. So Hjalti is going to be able to show you what we've been doing. And in animation, it's so fun to be able to see intro getting worked on, Village getting close to being wrapped up. And then also in the meantime, I'm working with Ben, who is doing the score. And you have heard in this most current edit the Ben's score for the intro when we see the camera crane down into the forest, and then also when you see the first mushroom get salt on it and Ellie sees the sprite, and we really are going for that fun kind of back to the future twinkle kind of feeling, right? And so the next time we also see this, we're going to have even more. So Ben and I are continuing to work on the score. But with that, let's jump into it. Hjalti,
Yes,
let's,
sir.
Let's see some bodies burning.
For Ritual, for the layout of Ritual, because the entire week I've been pretty much just doing the one task. I did a play blast pretty much every day of the week, and this might be too much information at the same time. I was like, well, maybe I can do like a thing where it's a comparison. It's going to be too much information at the same time. I just realized it just before the weekly, but let me just do it. So this is last week, and then you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. No! This is, you should proofread these things. You're doing them 5 minutes before this meeting, but yeah, okay. Okay, that is a failure on my part. I'm sorry. Yeah, screw it. Okay, I'm hitting play. We're just gonna catch one with their psycho. Gotta get me out of this hurry.
Hey, right foot, left foot, let's go. You picked the wrong camping spot, bitches. Sprite time! Run!
So as you can see, a lot of work went into Wendy's Day. Wendy's Day is really where things took off. Yeah, it's too much information at the same time, but yeah, it's pretty much just addressing notes, giving it more detail, putting in more information, and troubleshooting some kind of choreography problems that we're identifying as we go along. This is the entire layout is pretty much done. The only thing just before this meeting, I realized that some of the breathing stuff from Jay, I still have scratch version of that. So I'm just it'll take me like an hour or so just to update that. But other than that, it's ready to go on Monday. So the animators can rejoice. Okay, that's my week. Thank you very much. Okay.
So in animation, we're still working on intro. It's pretty much wrapped up. There's one shot left, the big shot where Monica's working on. She will be showing her shot later this week, please. And also Village is really ramping up to be completed. So those shots we'll see updates today. For me, I've been finished intro version 20. So let's have a look. The latest version here. I want to watch it in HD, guys. Sorry. Here we go.
Hello, Mr. Snail. Oh, you cute little corny specimen. That means bonus points.
Oh, can't believe it.
So
that 2D animation.
And yeah, I want to dive into a little bit of that treatment because I think, well, I'm very proud of it. Smashing snails is my hobby. So this is a treatment where I use the grease pencil tool to quickly draw in the effects. And I was chatting with Simon before that to see like, is this something that helps? And he said like, well, this is going to be very helpful for us to have kind of a fun foundation on where to go, and also for Matthew to quickly see like, okay, how is this going to look like? So it's very quick to iterate, to quickly do to the drawings, and it might even be possible to even animate it with grease pencil and convert it to mesh and have that animation be the simulation. But that's something that we'll discuss later with within the team. I'll be putting a video online next week where I explain a little bit about how I set up this workflow to show you guys how this is done. Sorry. So yeah, that's wrapped up. And then next to that, I've also been working on Village, where there were some additional notes that I can show you right now. Where is this full screen, guys? Oh, here we go. Come on. Right here. Wait a second.
You can full screen it by pressing the full screen button in the player if you're looking to full screen this animation on Kitsu.
I'm looking for the Dropbox actually. Why is this? Oh, this is the wrong. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So Matthew had a draw over for Village, which is this one. So we showed a version last week where he said like I would like to fill up some of the sprite, like fill up the scene more with some extra sprites. So in the version he said like, I want sprites here carrying berries, and I want some sprite here, and in animation we say yes sir. So that's the version where you're looking at now. There's some additional sprites, and as you can see,
It's incredible.
so here,
Incredible.
so here's there are the sprites walking with the berries. Here's a sprite fondly looking at a ladybug. There's a sprite here cleaning his front yard, and then there's an extra butterfly here flying into. I agree. We can put this on loop and create its own short movie, or make it in VR, and we can actually walk around.
Cool.
That was my week, guys. Thank you.
All right. So I made a video. It's not just my progression, but from the whole team. So this is how Snacks is lit right now. And I mostly did some set dressing, of course, lighting changes, and going back and forth with animation. And Julien did a lot of set dressing and shading from Simon. Yeah, some falling salt there. But it's not there yet. And I actually took a look right before the weekly on Kitsu, and you can see all the various versions I rendered. And it's actually pretty frustrating to go back a couple of versions and actually like it more. So I'm considering implementing a few changes here and there based on the previous versions. So set dressing more trash. So we had an issue where the trash wouldn't render, and now it does. It's really nice. And these shots where Ellie is just going absolutely mad, we want to have her as awesome as possible in terms of lighting. So yeah, I guess that's my week.
So this week I was working on two shots. The first one is the bird shot, and I was working last week also, but I need to add the binoculars and some detail on the animation. And the next one, I'm still working on it. For the moment, the characters are only getting in and in a pose. And yeah, I have to work more on this to have a nice blocking. That would be me.
Yeah, so this week, a bunch of shots, but it's gonna be quick. This one I showed you already last week, but now it's already finished. So I just want to show you again. So it's cool. And next to that, I did some small adjustments and some shots. With this one, I add lip sync on my part, the sprite singing. Then I jump on Nightfall, which I could add Phil, sleeping, eating Doritos. Then on Nightfall, I had to do a fix because on the edit, well, this one is better if I show you the other version. Yeah, because on the right, I think it's, yeah, I did like a settle, like he's pushing it. So then in edit, the next shot, and the flashlight is still in motion, so it was weird. So I just need to add, that not make him stop. So on the left, the flashlight, so it cuts here and doesn't stop. And then I start this shot of Elder. Yeah, this was my first version, but well, it was super energetic because I made him jump, and we doesn't want that because he's old, well, Elder Sprite. So I came up with this idea on dailies that he doesn't jump, but he prepares on the walk. But still, I need to reduce the acting part because he was super bouncy. And that's the latest version, which this one. I add more information of the with the fall. I reduce the bounciness, but I think it's still too much. I make him also walk slower, but I also think it's fast. But well, I'm still working on it. So yeah, that's my week.
Again, this week there were a bunch of adjustments, mostly set work. With this, really just a small thing. There were like procedurally placed grass strands in the foreground, and we wanted to have a bit more control over these. So these are now just like manually placed. We could still tweak them further. It's really easy now. There were a bunch of notes here and still some leftover to-dos. So this is the next one, and this is the current version. So there's a bit of more breakup between the grass and the moss and then the stone. The rock might still, ideally it still needs a new material, but now at least there's a bit of variation there, and also some overhanging grass. Still some areas that could use a bit more polish right now. This looks a bit fake, but also moss got a bit better placement because before that it was on the underside, which looked kind of weird. And also just generally improvements on the tree models and other stuff. Here, I removed the foreground bushes because they were just completely covering the animation, and then brought some of them back. We still need to look at the moss a bit. Well, I removed some of it, but maybe it's still a bit too bright. But that can also be tweaked in lighting. Also some notes over here, just with adding some more bushes in the foreground, but then also, also fixing the set here in the background, using the right materials, and then also adding the correct bushes over here. So there's a bit of a sense of continuity between shots. Generally, lots of these little tweaks were there were parts of the set missing in these shots, so I added them back. Also made some adjustments on the trees. Generally, all of these things are also visible in what other people are showing at the end of the week, but it's also nice to just show it here. Now that we finally have the ritual layout, I started working on these bushes over here that are supposed to fill in the space, and Ellie's supposed to like poke through it. So there's like lattices attached to these, which then can be animated. And then also other little props like adding these spines, which can be custom fitted to different characters, little torches that the sprites are throwing on Phil, and possibly also some videos. Well, this just finished rendering, so that's nice. Interestingly, though, I was working with an early version before the Wendy's Day of the layout where Ellie was just popping into existence. So I didn't know that she was Homer Simpson style going through the bushes. But there's a hole now, there's trash in it, which can be switched out with the original ground. And then also once we get to the later part, I already started working on like a baseline version of the new tree where all the sprites can stand on. I'm going to add more twigs, leaves, branches, all kinds of stuff, which is then going to shine more in the lighting. But this should be at least enough so people could start animating next week. That would be ideal. And then other props and other adjustments, generally like lots of stuff that's visible in the latest export. And that's my week.
Okay, so just skipping to his work. He has 2 shots that he finished this week. And those 2 shots are Village 170, which is a shot of Ellie just witnessing the disturbing event of the sprites. And let me just...
Guys,
So witnessing something that the sprites were doing. And then there's this shot that he finished as well, which is, let me make Francisco a little smaller here and play.
Cool with us camping here for the night. Abs, cool with us camping here for the night. Abs.
So this shot is a hookup to the next shot where he will make sure that Elder Sprite is continuing his move, but he's working on that right next week. So next week we'll see an update on this as well. That was his week.
This is not the most exciting things for you guys because you saw it last week and the other one, but it's progressed. So this week has been this phasing animation where everything is solid in blocking, but you need to do a lot of little things. I swear I've worked on it, but it's barely noticeable. But there's a difference, okay? Just watch. Yeah, so some things I've changed. It's like the way that Rex swings, for example. We were changing that because we needed a lot of more impact. And then Victoria's face, now she's happy to spray his hair. She's in her moment. And also, Victoria had a lot of beats here of acting, like watching, well, here I thought of watching Rex butts and we remove that. And then little things here and there, like the facial expressions, the eyes. And yeah. Oh, and there's a backpack. And also this week I had some technical issues. They're not as funny as last week, so I'm not showing them, but shout out to Matt because he was really patient with me and tried a lot of different things. And he found like a really specific thing to make Phil work. And yeah, thank you, Matt. You're the best. And yeah, so now I just need to polish some things like the backpack to make it match with the shoulder. But yeah, that's it. And that was my week.
All right, yeah. So because I was not here last week and Andy presented some of the stuff I did, and fittingly, Andy's not here this week. So it's only fair if I show what he's been up to. So we got a first pass on the intro. So I'll just show that.
Hello, Mr. Snail. Oh, you cute little cornua spasm. That means bonus points.
Oh, can't believe we got stuck with a tree hugger. If I have to hear the Latin name for one more animal, I swear I'm gonna kill her.
Relax, sugar buns. While she does all the work, we'll have all the fun.
Yeah, and get wasted out of our minds.
Way ahead of you, man.
Come on, G. We mustn't dilly-dally when there's so much nature to see. I was thinking we should call our class project Fun Guys in a Forest. Get it? Because we're a group of fun guys and also fun guys. Shush! That's a young rat tail, and she's in distress. There, then, little multicolored flower.
Yep, so intro, super important sequence. That's going to continue throughout the next weeks, the lighting for that. And then Andy worked more on, I think it was mostly like fixing motion blur things and making smaller adjustments, but I'll just play this as well. But yeah, that's pretty much final, apart from some shading adjustments that I still need to do on the U tree and just on the set in general. What? I'll just go away quickly before people start judging it. And then Drown, which Andy's working on with all the simulation and the difficulties that it brings up, but I'll just show this. Yep, so simulation and everything really coming together. Andy made a lot of changes to the piece streams, I think, and also making them work together with, in terms of shading, to fit to the rest of the fluid, and also just make the connections work and everything. There's also still shading adjustments that need to be done on the inside here, for example. But yeah, that's really coming together in general.
Cool.
And that was Andy's week, I think. Because last week I wasn't here, I'll just quickly show a couple of things. I think Andy went over a bunch of the stuff, like he showed the boombox shading, but then I also did some other things, like I did the tent shading, the different versions, just transferring everything over, and the tent bag, just smaller prop things that we needed to do. And then I added some system into the mushroom growth set, where we can just like add in a high-res patch for the ground, so we can actually move it to wherever we need it in the different close-up shots where the camera is pointing towards, and we can just scale it up and down with an empty, and it cuts out the remaining ground underneath it, so we don't really need to worry about anything. So that was just stuff from last week. And then this week I was a little bit short because I had 2 days left, but I worked mostly on Jay's shading. So this was a previous version. I think this was from, I'm not sure when this is from. I think this is the beginning of this week. And then this is the current version. So I added some general displacement to the hat, which was really difficult to pull off to actually follow the geometry properly when the rig's being animated, because it's vector displacement and it needs to go into the right direction. It shouldn't just turn around while Jay is moving. But that should work properly now, and it also goes away whenever he touches the hat, so we don't have unwanted intersections. And yeah, then just overall detail that's been added in. And also, oh yeah, then I have some more close-up shots. So this was before I just turned down the frequency of the chain and of the pattern here to fit a little bit more the chunkified art style, and also drag a little bit less attention to itself. And then a close-up also of the shoes with the detail. And then I did a pass to get the distressed version of Jay. So this is just the viewport in Eevee, just showing the shading a little bit like this. And then the same setup as we have for the other characters as well. There's a parameter that we can just control. Yeah, just hiding the accessories. Oh yeah, a parameter that we can just control to turn on the distressed version, and then have a little bit of different parameters to tweak it around. But this is just him being a little bit bruised up and dirty, and yeah, it's gonna add a lot to the shots where he's actually distressed later on. There's still a couple of small things that I need to put in there, but I'll finish that today, I think. And yeah, then J shading is done, and that's my week.
Okay, this week I work on 2 shots. I finished up the shot before the lock bridge shot. There is this one, so I basically just started making like kind of layout version of it. So just having up and downs and feeling the rhythm on her, and just having like the maximum the streams on the steps. We kind of agreed that it was like what we wanted after some changes. So I went I started to polish what I had, and for doing polishing nodes, to starting to refine the root, I like to hide the arms, so like this I don't have anything that is like moving around and distracting me from the part that I want to work in this case, like the torso and the hips. And after everything was done, I started to add the arms, so I made another version with the arms. And when we decided that this was kind of okay, but we wanted to try another different beat in here, so it ended up being like in this. So now she goes like here, and then she spread the arms, and this is final. So next, I had some extra time, so I jump on this shot from Village. I first made a version on the body to mark the rhythm and yeah, check like the beats that I wanted to show. It was okay already there, so I went further with the idea. So I had some lip sync and some arm movement and some facial expressions already, and it was okay. So I end up doing this with it, where the head is already animated, the arm is also animated, and everything's kind of already there. These guys are also animated, but not too much because they are distracting, and that's it.